ask me where I'm from the Caribbean, and I'm a Christian boy. Oh lad, oh lad. Nothing wrong with dancing, but our culture. No ways rotating, no. Don't let the devil tempt you. Christian from the Caribbean, and music is a part of.
Guys, and welcome back to Fun with Jose. So, as you all can read by the title above, today's video is going to be my reaction to our animated story video. So without further ado, if you all are enjoying the content and loving the consistency, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and leave your comments down below, guys. Anyways, let's get into the video. So today's story is one that I find interesting. So it is my boyfriend. Sorry about that glitch. My boyfriend lives in a cave. So we're going and see this.
I was putting my surfboard in the trunk of my car when suddenly I heard shouting coming from a house nearby. I often heard yelling and cursing coming from the windows of that strange house. My mother was saying that a father and his son lived there. She claimed that she knew the father. He was a very violent man and was truly sorry for the son who got so unlucky with his parents. I used to...
That sucks, yo. But, like, you telling me you live in a neighborhood for so long and you don't even know the voices of the people coming from the house, so you going based on what your mother tell you that father and a son living there and the father is abusive or whatever. Like, yo, me, I curious. I'll be outside plenty trying to listen. Okay, so anyways, let's continue.
To pay almost no attention to that house. But now the yelling and cursing was so loud, I almost reached for the...
Hold up. This had to be in a foreign country, because in Trinidad and Tobago, if anybody cussing, yelling, anything, we Trinis outside, we want to know what's going on, right? We want to know what's going on. You telling me that you hear him cursing and yelling and you were just like, don't know what's going on, and you know, start to pay attention because it's starting to get louder. Okay, sis, I see you. You're an introvert, okay?
For the phone to call the police. Suddenly, I saw a guy climbing out of the window of the house, and I couldn't stay away. I slammed the trunk and ran towards the guy. Even though he was walking away with great speed, he had a noticeable limp. Hey, did something happen? The guy didn't even seem to look at me.
You do not even know this fella and you're following him. What if the guy turns out to be a creep?
My direction. He just kept walking forward, away from the house. Back off. I didn't even think about backing off. Maybe you need help. Leave me alone. There was pain and hurt in the guy's voice. His behavior frightened me a little.
Finally, she frightened only somebody that she just weird, but okay.
Probably would have understood more if he'd swung or sent me away in a harsh way. I stopped, deciding that the guy really should be left alone. After all, I had done my duty. I didn't stand away. I went back to the car. I turned the key in the ignition, turned on the music, and tried to forget this unpleasant story. I didn't know yet.
Music is the reliever for everything, but certain music does make things worse. So be careful what you're listening to.
That the story had only just begun. Well, let's get acquainted. I'm Ellie, and today I'm going to tell you about my boyfriend, who lives in a cave. The next day, I found myself on that wild beach again. The wave I had managed to catch was keeping me awake. I spent half the night thinking about how I could go back to that place again and have a great time. Out of all the beaches, I had always preferred the wild ones. On the beaches like this, you won't meet lots of people and can be alone. This particular place only I and a few other surfers knew about. It was forbidden to swim, much less surf. It was because of those rocks that everyone looked at with apprehension. If the flow carries you to the rocks, you'll be in trouble. I've been surfing since I was a kid, and I knew this beach like the back of my hand. So now I was standing all alone on the shore and was looking into the distance, waiting for my wave. I was lucky. I didn't have to wait long. a huge 3-meter wave, as if calling me to dive into the water and...
You mean I'm calling it to die literally, you know, say the beach. You're not supposed to be surfing on the beach, but you're surfing on the beach. Where the lifeguards for that beach. I thought, anyways, sis, yeah, that calling, yeah, had a beach. But, that's what I doesn't understand. Like, you know, you're not supposed to be surfing. I guess you're getting an adrenaline rush. But is the adrenaline rush going to be worth it when you're injured or something? Like, anyways, continue. Well, we get to the juicy part. Where your boyfriend here?
with it. Wasting no time, I grabbed the board and went to meet her. The wave was coming right at me. I was securely on the board, getting ready to ride it. And I was already ready to stand on the board when suddenly my foot slipped. I lost my balance and collapsed into the water.
You see, from the time you went to the beach, to surf, and a forbidden surfing area, you was calling, it was literally calling your name, right? And watch what happened to you know. Anybody around? Anybody could swim in that rough beach and save you? Well, we could see, but you must listen sometimes.
Wow. A huge wave swallowed me whole, like a shark
What you was expecting?
swallows a gaping fish. I tried desperately to swim to the surface, but because of the impact, I swallowed a lot of water, and I lost orientation in space. I was ready to say goodbye to life, when suddenly I saw a dark figure approaching me. Someone grabbed my hand, and I blacked out. I woke up on the beach. Someone's wet lips covered mine. And no, it wasn't a kiss from Prince Charming. My savior was giving me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I was
Well,
still not
duh.
thinking or seeing very well, so I couldn't see his features. I only remembered his broad shoulders and his sturdy, strong arms.
By the way, guys, if you are hearing music in the background, that is my neighbors playing music, so don't mind the music, guys. Let's continue.
After a few minutes, I finally came to my senses, but my savior was no longer there. I would have gladly waited.
Oh, it took a turn. This is like the Little Mermaid, where the prince, where the prince was saved, and he didn't know the person who saved him, and he thought it was his next. You know, I never really watched the movie per se. I know I'm probably late and thing. I don't really watch movies that much, but I know in the storybook when I was smaller reading it, the another person claimed to be, you know, the saving person, the hero. So let's see what goes on.
For the kind stranger for a while and thanked him for his courage, but my head was spinning. So I grabbed
Well,
my board
duh.
and shuffled my feet. I made it to my car. Time passed. A whole week had passed since the day I almost drowned. And almost every day I went back to my favorite wild beach. True, I no longer dared to ride alone. And even if I
Finally,
had
Ellen.
decided to, it would have been problematic. The surfing season was open, and my friends joined me every now and then. I had no intention of conquering any waves that day. I just sat on a hill and watched others do it. To be honest, I was hoping to see my savior, to recognize him among my friends. He was a very good swimmer. So I came to the conclusion that maybe it was one of the local surfers. Fred, maybe? Shoulders seemed broad.
Hold up. So if the person was a good swimmer, right? Why, when you okay. So you come to the conclusion that it was one of the local surfers, right? But you is a surfer, right? And if you're a surfer, like if you say that you come to the conclusion it has to be one of the local surfers because of their swimming abilities, then you as a surfer are supposed to know how to swim and you're supposed to know how to get yourself out of that ordeal. You're supposed to be experienced and trained in that area. So what you was really doing when you was trying to, you know, ride the waves, because you know you fall and you wasn't able to save yourself. So the story not adding up, but okay.
Maybe Steve? Nah, he's a coward. He wouldn't go under a wave like that. But then who? My thoughts were interrupted by a heart-rendering scream. I saw one of the surfers floundering helplessly in the water, waving his arms.
Another
He was already
person.
hurtling toward the rocks, but none of the guys rushed to help him. I had nowhere to go, so I ran into the water. I took off my jacket as I went. But before I had run a couple of meters, I stopped. Someone was already swimming to help the surfer. I'd never seen people swim that fast before. The brave stranger grabbed the drowning man by the shoulder and started pulling him toward the shore. He pulled the poor man out onto the sand and tried to give him artificial respiration, but the surfer regained consciousness and coughed. We all shouted at the daredevil that he was good, but he seemed to be uncomfortable with our attention. He walked away quickly from the beach, and it was like I was electrocuted.
You know, sometimes I've got people out there in the world that don't really need your attention for doing something good, like it's like angels out there, you know.
Seen him from a distance, but I recognized his broad shoulders and muscular arms. It was
You know how many men out here have the same build and physique? You telling me you recognize somebody by their build and physique? Okay, sis, we'll go with your word.
him, my savior. I took off and ran after him, forgetting about everything. As I ran, I stumbled over rocks and
She didn't even take into consideration the fact that he swam and saved that person. She just said, he looked just like my hero because his build, she didn't say, and as well as you see. Yo, this story is ridiculous so far.
bumped through the sticky sand. The guy was already out of sight. No matter how hard I looked, he was nowhere to be seen. All I'm left with is footprints in the sand, suddenly breaking off at the rocks. I went back to the beach and started interviewing my buddies, hoping that one of them might have known the mysterious rescuer. But the guy's answers didn't make me happy. No, it was the first time I saw him, but the speed he had was crazy. I don't know, he doesn't seem to be from here. I met him a couple of times. He even showed up in town. That answer encouraged me. Really? Where? In the supermarket near our house. Do you happen to know his name? No. He seemed very angry to me, as if someone...
She kind of seemed like a stalker, eh? She asked everybody about him. But I mean, in a situation like this, I'll give you a pass. You could do that. Because I know you don't want to thank him and stuff like that. Because it's your life he saved, right? If it's him that saved your life to begin with.
Someone had hurt him badly. I walked around the beach for a long time, pestering my buddies with questions, but my efforts led nowhere. It got dark and there was no one left on the beach. I was upset for good and wanted to go home. Suddenly I noticed that...
To be honest, the beach in the night does be so cool, calm and relaxed. I never been on it, but I was there on the night already. But right now, curfew restrictions, you can't be on the beach in the night. But hopefully sometime I will get to take a dip in the beach in the night. But I just have a feeling it's going to be cool. So when I actually take a dip in the night, I will then voice my opinion on the coolness or warmness of the water. But I could voice my opinion that the sea breeze just be so cool during the night. Yeah. So yeah. You dip in the beach and with a bathing suit on in the night and play school. I guess sometimes when you're numb by emotions, it's probably because of that. She thought that she don't even realize time flying. So I think she have passed on this one too, but still sound a little sketchy, but I could understand.
that on an island a couple of 100 meters from our shore, a faint column of smoke was going up into the air. Maybe it was him, my savior. Without...
You just seeing smoke going up in the air. You don't know who camping there or what? Why would you say that is your savior, your hero? To begin with, you're calling the person your savior, honey. No, that is not your savior. Jesus is the savior, okay? But anyways, forget that. Y'all, the skill literally seeing smoke going up in the sky and thinking that the person who saved she. How you will just come to that conclusion? That is like madness. Bruh.
Without a moment's hesitation, I grabbed my board and headed toward the island.
It's night. You nearly died during the pure daylight when everybody could have saw you. right? And you're still going back to surf in a unforbidden place and top of that to sort a mountain or island or whatever it is. This is on the screen here. To see somebody, you saw him swimming today. He wasn't really on the beach whole day. Did you see him swimming today? No, you did not. But just you jumped to a conclusion that that smoke is him. How? How are you even sure that the correct person that saved you?
By the time I
Yo,
finally
she's
made
turning
it,
up my
it
stress
was
level.
really dark. And
She lucky she even make it without dying.
only the bright moon illuminated the strange island. I stuck my board in the sand and sat down on the shore to catch my breath. Music was playing somewhere nearby. I got up and went to the call of a cheerful tune. Finally, it led me to a camp that someone had set up in the heart of the island. Nearby, I noticed the entrance to a cave. At that moment, a guy about my age came out of the cave. He was holding a book. When he saw me, he stopped dead in his tracks and just stared for a few seconds, clearly not believing.
Y'all, and this is the same guy who was she neighbor from next door who escaped with a bloody lip or nose or something, and she was following him to see if he's okay. And afterwards, he tells she to leave him alone and stuff.
His eyes. I looked at him the same way. The last thing I was expecting to see in the hands of a man living in a cave was a book. Who are you? Why are you here?
Let me guess, he living in this cave because he don't want to live with his abusive father anymore. He fed up of all his father's behavior. And he decided to come and he find this cave when he was out one day because I guess he's a surfer, swimmer. He loved the beach is coming or something. I just say,
I couldn't tell from his tone whether he was mad at me or not. I came to thank you for saving my life. I think you've come to the wrong place. I didn't save anyone. I remember broad shoulders, strong arms, tall stature. You look just like that guy. Thanks for the compliment, but I haven't left this island for a month already. I couldn't hide my disappointment. Strange. I was sure it was you.
that is what guys learn from this girl, okay? You cannot remember someone based on their build only. You have to take into consideration other facts, right? Such as the fact that he saved your friend, but you didn't think about that, did you? You just saw that you just saw that his shoulders built and his body is tall when you decided, well, this is the person who saved you. Now, in rare case scenarios, it could be, but
And what are you doing here? I live here. He shrugged. In a cave? Well, yeah. What's the big deal? Indeed, every other person I know lives in a cave, I snorted. Why aren't you at home with your mom and dad?
she rude. She literally, and let's take this, guys. She literally have her own home, right? And if her home was intruded like this, she would want to call the police. This is his home, right? And she have the audacity to be like, everyone else I know lives in a cave. Like, you intrude his privacy and you're being rude to him.
I saw my mother, and my father no longer exists for me. What did he do? The young man, who had been frank, suddenly changed his face. That's enough. No more questions. There was a very uncomfortable pause. I tactlessly barged into this strange guy's world with my questions. Meanwhile, his life was clearly not easy. Can I at least get your name? He softened. You can call me Kai. And I'm Ellie. Will you come to the surfing competition tomorrow? It won't be far from here, on a nearby beach. Why? I'm taking part in it. I mean, they're for pros. I wouldn't say you're ready. I'm fine. Wait, how do you know if I'm ready or not? Kai brushed me off like an annoying fly. Never mind. It's time for you to go. It's late and dark. I really did have to get back. I turned around and took a few steps in the direction I'd come from when I decided to say one last thing. I know it was you. Kai was silent, not even looking up at me. I decided that this was the end of our conversation for real. All the way back, I thought, what could Kai's father have done that his son decided to leave him?
You telling me you're so oblivious to the fact that that is your neighbor that you was literally chasing after the one you were so curious about and concerned about. You cannot forget a face like that, an incident like that. You literally had to use music when you was driving back home in order to forget about the event. So like, how are you going to forget his face? How? Make it make sense, guys. If y'all find I making sense, comment below hashtag make it make sense.
And live in a cave. The next morning, I went to the competition. A crowd of spectators had already gathered on the beach, and lifeguards were on duty. There were clearly more participants than I expected, and judging by their confident looks, they were experienced athletes. I looked around hoping to see Kai in the crowd of spectators, but yet he hadn't come. What a pity. The competition began, and I was looking forward to my turn. The ocean was really going wild. The host announced that the last wave was already 4 meters high. Hearing this, the crowd cheered enthusiastically. Okay, there's nothing to be afraid of. There are lifeguards and...
Yeah, they're lifeguards, but you're forgetting the fact that you're supposed to be a pro swimmer when you're a surfer according to your own self, yours truly, yourself, because you said that you come to the conclusion that because the person who saved you was a swift swimmer and he had to be a surfer because of how he was a good swimmer. Therefore, you as a surfer are supposed to be a swimmer. So why did you skip swimming lessons and go straight to surfing lessons? Like how do you expect to have all these pros and you recently got into a life threatening situation in the waves and you're still out here not backing down? Like I get it, but go and get some swimming lessons first, Narcissus.
The boats. Although the boats won't do much good if someone is carried to the rocks. A wave is coming for our next contestants, Sam Kane, Steve Bloom, and Ellie Fisher. We grabbed the boards at the same time and ran to the ocean. The wave was coming. It was huge. I haven't conquered one of these yet. I rode as fast as I could. The wave was getting closer and closer. I got up on the board and was surprisingly good at keeping balance. However, I did not rejoice long. I didn't have time to get out of the pipe when a huge torrent of water came crashing down on me. It knocked me down. The wave dragged me under the water, then threw me back to the surface. A few minutes later,
What did she expect?
carried me to the rocks. I tried to swim, to twitch my legs, but it was no use. The boats can't get that
What did
close to
she
the rocks,
expect?
which means there's no use to wait for help. I swallowed a lot of water. When I was about to pass out, something tugged at my arm with tremendous force.
Why she keep swallowing the water? Why does she keep swallowing the water? And why you keep surfing if you can't swim, sis? It makes no sense. Hashtag make it make sense.
Remember before I passed out. I woke up already on the shore. Strong arms, broad shoulders, my savior, giving me CPR. The fog in my eyes finally disappeared, and I saw Kai's face. I smiled weakly.
Okay.
You could have found a safer way to do this. I interrupted him with a kiss. The guy was at first taken aback, and then he suddenly hugged me. I was very happy to be alive. All thanks to my keeper. And has anyone ever saved your life? Write your answers in the comment.
Okay. So even though it didn't make sense, it ended up really being Kai. Now I know in movies, majority of the time, you would recognize the person by their voice or their hair color or something, but she recognized him by his build and I guess his skin tone as well. So yeah, but you telling me how Kai could get across from the main the thing island to the main island, from the main island to the his cave during the night and she wouldn't see. I mean, it's possible, but you know how dangerous it is too. But anyways, he must have some kind of real pro experience in swimming to not be put in danger and stuff. And it's how up till now she don't realize that this person is the boy from next door. And the whole video is kind of clickbait because even though the kiss and whatnot, they still never made it official that they're together or anything. So like, yeah. Anyways, guys, as she said to the end of the video, to comment down below if anybody has ever saved your life. Okay. So yes, guys. To be honest, I didn't expect to react to this video like this. I thought it would have been more funny, but like she's story was just all over the place and weird and not adding up. And I had to call them out for it. I had to. It just didn't make sense, right? So yeah, guys. So on to the outro. Guys, we in the outro. Okay. Anyways, so to be honest, today's story was a bit hashtag make it make sense. That all I had to say, right? That was today's story, basically. But what am I supposed to do? This is the people that created it and stuff. So I just reacted to it. Yes, guys. So anyways, no long outro and thing, the video done over. Yeah, so don't forget to leave a like down below, to hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications to be notified whenever your girl post a new video. Okay, and also don't forget to comment any suggestions down below, guys, and don't forget to share the video. So I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.